During the Qing dynasty's reign of Emperor Qianlong, the emperor is plagued by recurring nightmares. In these dreams, someone bearing a striking resemblance to him appears, wielding a sword and riding a horse. Emperor Qianlong is infuriated to find this assassin who looks identical to him. He orders the top martial artist, the governor of 9 Gates, to eradicate the anti-Qing organization, the Red Flower Society. His first target is a blacksmith shop in the outskirts, where intelligence suggests the Red Flower Society's roster is located. The blacksmiths unexpectedly attack him, but the governor's speed is unmatched, swiftly defeating them and retrieving the roster, which has been successfully relocated to Guangdong. Meanwhile, the Guangdong Games are about to begin, sponsored by Tiger Lui. Tiger, who has moved his family south to Guangdong after becoming wealthy, is not well received by the locals. In an attempt to improve relations, Tiger organizes a sports event, but his daughter Ting-ting faces harassment from a playboy. Li intervenes, coming to her aid. Trained in martial arts by his mother and toughened by his father's discipline, Li effortlessly defeats the thugs harassing Ting-ting. As he shares a moment with Ting-ting, constables arrive and arrest Li and the thugs. With the failure of the sports event, Tiger becomes increasingly irritable. However, his steward advises him to plan carefully, suggesting that to make a name for himself, Tiger should first establish a solid footing. The best way to do this is to host a martial arts competition and demonstrate Tiger's generosity. Tiger embraces this idea, organizing a martial arts competition, with his wife serving as the challenger. Meanwhile, Li, released from custody, is studying at home when a friend informs him of the martial arts competition. Incensed by the challenger's arrogance, Li rushes to the event. Tiger's wife, though a woman, is skilled in martial arts and has defeated many formidable opponents before Li's arrival. The two engage in a fierce battle, moving from the arena to a plum blossom platform. Amidst the fight, Li nearly falls but quickly wraps himself in a red cloth and returns to the platform, kicking Tiger's wife into the crowd. She regains her footing and counterattacks Li, and as Li approaches victory, Miss Lui reveals her true identity from the platform. Li is shocked and quickly pretends to be defeated, attempting to flee. Unbeknownst to Li, the real Miss Lui has already slipped away, and Tiger hastily substitutes a maid as a replacement challenger. Meanwhile, the true Miss Lui is none other than Ting-ting, whom Li has been longing for. Regardless, news of Li being beaten by a woman spreads rapidly throughout the city. Li's mother is furious, having taught him martial arts for so long only for him to be so incompetent. She disguises herself as Li's brother and challenges the martial arts competition again for Ting-ting's hand in marriage. Tiger's wife is smitten by the impressive display, especially since Li's mother, as a woman, not only dominates the competition but also captures her heart in front of Tiger. Ultimately, Li's mother wins the competition but leaves swiftly after learning she is expected to marry her daughter. Tiger, however, is not ready to give up. He plans to take her back for marriage with great fanfare. Li's mother, now back in her feminine attire, tearfully claims her eldest son has died. Tiger is shocked but cleverly suggests marrying Li to his daughter instead. Li refuses and tries to escape, but Tiger has already captured Li's mother. Li thus becomes the scapegoat, marrying his non-existent brother to Tiger's daughter. On the wedding night, both Li and Ting-ting have their own thoughts. They admire each other but are unaware of each other's true identities. Before they can even speak, they start fighting, leaving them unable to see each other clearly. The next day, Li's father returns and instructs his family to wait at home while he attends to important matters. Just then, a sudden rainstorm strikes, and Li's mother and son go to bring him an umbrella. However, they accidentally stumble upon his secret in a secluded farmhouse. Seeing the woman before her, Li's mother initially suspects her husband of having an affair, until she discovers that her husband is actually a key member of the Red Flower Society, with the flower registry in his possession. Before they can reveal themselves, unexpected guests arrive, led by the governor of 9 Gates. Facing imminent danger, mother and son fight their way out and confront the governor. Despite their efforts, Li's father proves to be a liability, prompting Li to decide to face the governor alone. They engage in a fierce battle, exchanging punches and blows. Li feels the intense pain in his hands from the impact, prompting him to pick up a bamboo pole and unleash a series of strikes. The governor, knowing he cannot confront head-on, blocks with his left hand and counters with his right, pulling out an even longer bamboo pole. As the saying goes, each inch longer is an inch stronger, and in this comparison, Li appears to be at a disadvantage. However, the showdown is not about winning for Li. Sensing his parents are far away, he has no desire to continue the fight and takes the opportunity to escape when the governor makes a mistake. The family successfully reunites and decides to move to Tiger's house now that Li's father's identity has been exposed. Tiger, known for his generosity, invites them to stay upon learning of their difficulties. Just then, Ting-ting and her maid come out, and although Li initially refuses to acknowledge his wife, their feelings intensify once they recognize each other. Tiger is delighted and decides to arrange for their daughter's marriage the next day. However, an important guest arrives on the wedding night, the governor of 9 gates. As they attempt to flee, they are intercepted by Tiger's unsuspecting wife, inadvertently exposing their identities. Believing Tiger to be a rebel, the governor prepares to shoot, but Tiger's wife jumps in the way of the bullet. Unable to withstand the gunfire from the musketeers, they are forced to flee, and Li's father is captured after being shot in the leg. Furious upon learning the truth, Tiger disowns Li and his family. Li sneaks back into the city late at night to find out what happened to his friends. To his dismay, his friend bursts into tears upon seeing him. Officials had already interrogated them, and one friend had been beaten to death for refusing to lie about knowing Li. Heartbroken by his friend's death, Li goes alone to the city gates to retrieve his friend's body. After a fierce struggle, he manages to escape and bury his friend outside the city. Just as he mourns, he received the news that his father will be executed tomorrow. To spare his mother's worry, Li instructs the steward to lie to her, saying his father has been rescued and asking her to meet at the dock. Meanwhile, outside, Tiger returns with his wife. Due to their impending marriage, Tiger is now also wanted by the authorities. Tiger's wife, now gravely injured, lies in Li's mother's arms, still longing for Li's brother. Eventually, Li's mother disguised herself as Li's brother and bids her farewell. Early the next morning, Li sent his mother and Ting-ting away, embarking alone on the journey to save his father. By this time, Li's father had already been taken to the guillotine, and the governor was still trying to persuade him to surrender the roster in exchange for sparing his life. Li's father remained unmoved, prompting the governor to order the execution immediately. At that moment, an arrow whistled through the air, and it was Li who had arrived. Riding a masked horse, he shot multiple arrows, instantly killing several men, before entering the center of the execution ground. Governor, seeing the roster in Li's hands, made a bet with him. If Li could defeat the governor before the rope burned through, governor would let them go. They began their duel, with Li attempting to put out the fire but being kicked away by governor. As they exchanged blows, Li grew increasingly anxious as the rope continued to burn. Governor seized the opportunity to kick Li off the platform, where the space was cramped and unfavorable for attacking. Governor employed unconventional attack techniques, while Li, equally valiant, utilized his own skills, including the shadowless kick. Governor was forced to retreat under Li's relentless assault, but Li noticed the rope was about to break. He threw the roster to distract Governor and rushed to grab the lever. However, after the intense battle, he was exhausted, and with his father's life on the line, the onlookers broke through the soldiers' blockade to help. Upon receiving the roster, Governor discovered it was fake. Enraged, he ordered the soldiers to kill everyone. Just then, another force arrived. Li's mother had indeed found the sub-base, leading them into the execution ground. The leader of the Red Flower Society also appeared, brandishing a long sword and confronting Governor, who, weakened from the battle, had little strength left. Ultimately, Governor, desperate, decided to perish with the leader. But as he threw a bomb, Li's spear intercepted it, resulting in a deafening explosion that claimed Governor of 9 Gates' life. While Li's family was rescued successfully, they could no longer live as ordinary people. In the end, Li chose to join the Red Flower Society, becoming the leader's godson, and embarking on the path to overthrow the Qing dynasty and restore the Ming dynasty.